Hello, my name is Diba, and for my favorite brain part assignment, I'm going to be talking about my favorite brain part, which is the corpus callosum, and more specifically, what it has to do with alien hand syndrome. So, the corpus callosum is the largest white matter structure in the brain, and it comes from the Latin phrases corpus, which means body, and callosus, which means hard or tough, like the thickened skin of a callus. So, this part is the corpus callosum, and what it basically does, it's a bridge that connects the two hemispheres of the brain, the right and left hemispheres, and it's made up of a bunch of nerve fibers which help the right and left hemisphere of the brain connect by sending signals, and it's like really helpful in coordinating movements and functions like that. Okay, so the corpus callosum is made up of four parts. We have the rostrum right over here, and then we have the genu, then this part is the body, and this part is called the splenium. And as I mentioned, the main function of the corpus callosum is connecting the two hemispheres of our brain, and its like main function is it carries out different signals which help coordinate stuff like senses such as our vision, hearing, touch, taste, and smell, movement, and some cognitive functions such as memory, language processing, problem solving, and reasoning. So before talking about how the corpus callosum plays a role in alien hand syndrome, I'm going to talk a little bit about what alien hand syndrome is. So I remember first hearing about this as a kid when I was in school, and I saw someone's science class assignment be about this syndrome, and I saw the poster for it, and it was just incredibly fascinating to me. So what alien hand syndrome is when your limb, your arm, or your hand is acts independently from other parts of your body, and it can sometimes feel like it has a mind or consciousness of its own. So what happens is you're not in control of your hand, and it performs completely involuntary actions and movements, sort of like it's its own person, which can kind of feel scary, I presume. And one example of this in one of the TV shows I've watched is that Dr. Brock Holt had alien hand syndrome, or what appeared to be alien hand syndrome, in Scream Queens season 2. So there's a few types of alien hand syndrome, and I'm going to be talking about a few of them. So the first one is when your hand acts independently from the other. For example, you could be performing one action with this hand, and then the other one will just be doing something completely different. The second one is when your hand is in your own and it feels like a completely foreign person or thing, and you just kind of feel disconnected to it. The third one is that your hand performs a task that you have no control over. So let's say you're sitting down reading, and then your hand just starts flipping the light switch. So you have no control over that, and this would be the third type. The fourth type is when you feel like you have an extra limb and your hand just isn't part of your body and just feels extra to you when you're being. And the fifth one, which I think is kind of scary, is when your hand raises on its own. And I've seen a couple of scenes in some scary movies where the person appears to be possessed and like their hand just raises in the air. Yeah, that's just scary a little bit. So, some symptoms of alien hand syndrome include, but are not limited to, obviously, touching parts of your body without, wanting to, since the alien hand, you have no control over the actions it performs. You might flip the light switch with the hand you have control over and then flip it off again with your alien hand. You might raise your hand above your head without having any control over it. You might be filling a cup of coffee and then emptying it with the alien hand. You might have you might be waving or moving your fingers, and there might also be difficulty speaking or identifying touched and seen objects. These are just some of the symptoms. So now we ask the question that which hand gets affected in this syndrome. I want to say that there are some rare cases when a leg is affected, but that is extremely rare. And the thing about which hand it affects is related to the region of the brain which is injured. So the left medial frontal lobe, if that one gets injured, the right hand will be the alien hand, and if the corpus callosum and right parietal lobe is injured, the left hand will be affected. So injuries or lesions to the corpus callosum, the parietal region and frontal region of our brain, can happen due to stuff like surgery or an underlying condition which one might be unaware of. So the type that I wanted to focus more on today is the callosal type, or aka the part which the corpus callosum is involved and injured. So in this specific type, the non-dominant hand is affected. So if you're right-handed, your left hand will be your alien hand. And in this specific type, your hands appear to be fighting each other. So let's say you button up your shirt with one hand, your other hand will unbutton it. You switch on the light, your other hand will switch off the light. Let's say you open the door with your right hand and then your left hand closes it. And you may be aware, the person may be aware of the action that they're performing, but they obviously have no control over it because the alien hand is performing said action. So there are some known treatments for this condition, and some of which I've listed here. The main one is obviously taking medications such as anti-seizure medications, but the coolest one, in my opinion, is getting Botox injections, which can temporarily prevent muscle movement. And the way I think about / remember this is, when you watch movies and like there's an A-list celebrity acting, and you can tell they have Botox by the way that they're performing an emotional scene, or like let's say they're crying, but their like forehead isn't moving. So those muscles, because of the Botox prevents those muscles from moving. And that's how the Botox would be helping a person with alien hand syndrome to like not move the alien hand. And yeah, that's my video on the corpus callosum and alien hand syndrome. Thank you for watching.